Well, hey, howdy, hi. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by to join me today. I really do appreciate it. My name is Ellie, and I'm a witch, and this over here is my teaching assistant, Andy, and today is Tuesday, and on my channel that means it is tea time and true crime. Today is a little bit different of an episode. Normally I just do one true crime case, but today it's going to be two shorter cases in one video. The first case will be the Overtoun Bridge in Scotland, and the second will be the case of Uncle Tick-tack. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. So we're starting with the Overtoun Bridge in Scotland, and a couple of trigger warnings for this case is harm to dogs as well as dog suicide. Completed in 1895 to the design of architect Henry Miller, the bridge is an ornate structure, flanked by retaining walls topped by a slightly beveled broad banister. Now reports from dog owners who have walked the bridge include stories of strange behavior from their dogs upon approaching the structure. Some report that once on the bridge itself, dogs suddenly and for no apparent reason leap over the retaining wall to crash into trees, shrubs, and rocks some 50 feet below. Other owners have reported that their dogs jump onto the retaining wall and run along it before jumping to their deaths. There are some dogs who survived the fall. Apparently some owners, after getting their dogs back alive, take them back onto the bridge where the dog makes in the second attempt. From observer statements, it isn't clear if some dogs are running along the parapet and jump off, or if it might be that they are simply losing their footing, the latter of which is possible, especially if it's wet. People are of course fascinated by the phenomenon. The local Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals sent an investigative team to the bridge, but their search yielded no answers. So with a lack of a scientific answer, many locals believe that there must be something paranormal going on. Several people visiting Overtoun describe the apparition of Lady Overtoun. She is said to wander the estate as a grieving widow after the passing of her husband, builder of the bridge, in 1908. A less paranormal theory is that maybe it's a smell. We all know that dogs' sense of smell is incredible, so some suggest maybe it is smell-based. The most common prey animal suggested is the mink, as it is a very pungent critter. This intense prey drive upon smelling such a strong scent does make sense, especially considering that a dog cannot commit suicide. It is an interesting conclusion to reach, and if they were human it would 100% be the case, but the act requires self-consciousness that dogs just don't have. There is also a person-to-person aspect to the deaths. There are a lot of unleashed dogs making their way to the Overtoun Bridge, but there are also reports from worried owners whose dogs were going to jump but were stopped by a stronghold on the lead. It is also true though that dogs, like other pets, are not always going to prioritize their safety. Instincts, especially when it comes to hunting, would trump other goals like avoiding injury or even death. The amount of dogs who've actually passed this way is all over the place. Some reports say over 600, others around 300, but the actual number of deaths is likely closer to about 50. With that general number, there are some statistics that can be pulled. Long-nosed dogs jump off the bridge the most, and they are bred for tracking prey. The weather is typically dry and clear when a dog jumps, and the bulk of the dogs jump from the same side of the bridge. Now on to our second case, and that's going to be Uncle Tick-tack. Trigger warnings for this case are pedophilia and child murder. I also will not be going into details, but the youngest victims were toddlers and the oldest were 12, so bear that in mind if you choose to listen further. Adolf Seidfeld was born March 6, 1870 in Potsdam, North Germany, and he was known by many names. The Sandman, Uncle Addy, and Uncle Tick-tack. He was the seventh and final child to his parents. He was trained as a locksmith and then as a watchmaker, specializing in grandfather clocks and pocket watches. This job is actually what earned him the nickname Uncle Tick-tack. In 1890, he moved to Lübeck and married Katharina Seidfeld, but she divorced him in 1910. The two had a son together during their marriage, but he was institutionalized for moral crimes at the age of 19. Now, Seidfeld was reportedly abused at age 12 by two men. At 25, he was imprisoned for sexual harassment of a boy. He was diagnosed as mentally unstable and was in and out of mental hospitals and prisons. At minimum, he killed 12 boys during his run as a serial killer. 11 of the known victims were found in wooded areas. All of the children were wearing sailor suits and were noted to be found sleeping peacefully. The children showed no signs of external force, almost as if they had simply fallen asleep and never woke up. This means that it is possible that there were other murders that were written off as natural causes. The theories as to how these children were found as peaceful as they were homemade poison, chloroform, or that they were smothered. Hans Pfeiffer disagreed, though. He is the author of popular science books about criminal cases. His theory is that Seidfeld put his victims into a hypnotic state, performed oral sex on them, and then just left them. Since he never woke them from this hypnotic state, they were stuck asleep, and then they died of hypothermia. The medical examiner in the trial of the murder of Gustav Thomas gave his report on the bloodshot pressure indicating strangulation, meaning the victims were more than likely strangled and not hypnotized. The confirmed victims are as followed: Kurt Gernick, Wolfgang Metzdorf, Ernest Testor, Alfred Pretorius, Gunther Tieske, Ernest Wisniewski, Arthur Dill, Edgar Dittrich, Hans Joachim Neumann, and Gustav Thomas. Seidfeld was convicted for the murders on February 22, 1936. On February 29th, an appeal was brought, but there is no documentation about the appeal or the appeal process. The actual records for the court process are not good quality or just don't exist, so some information is a little spotty. There are some newspaper reports about the execution and 2 transcripts of conversations conducted in his cell in 1936. Both are documented in the Monthly Journal of Forensic Biology and Penal Reform by J. Fisher and Johannes Lang. Come the time of his execution, executioner Karl Gropler had visited with Seidfeld prior to the execution. He said of the encounter, "I recognized the expected difficulty of the execution." Apparently, Seidfeld was eager to be beheaded by guillotine. And that is all that I have for you today. That was a lot. The first one was really sad, learning about the Overtoun Bridge. That's really sad, but really fascinating that we don't have a set conclusion and that it's just all dogs. Doesn't really matter, if they aren't food motivated, are food motivated, there's nothing dog to dog that's personal about it. It's just all dogs indiscriminately. And Uncle Tick-tack, that one was just really sad. I am fascinated by the hypnosis theory. It's laughably funny, but at the same time, these are children who died, and so it's not funny, but I want to talk to the man who said that, yeah, that makes total and complete sense, because what? But yeah, today was a little bit different. I might do this in future because there are some cases that I've looked into, but they're just so short that if I were to just do them in a video alone, it'd be a 3-minute video with my intro and my outro. So maybe I'll do some more where it's several different cases in one video. With that being said, I have 2 more things for you guys. One, I was streaming last week. That was super fun. I really did enjoy that. VODs are going to be up sometime. I'm not really sure if I want to put them on this channel, start a different channel, or do what. So I'm still trying to figure that out, but they will be up eventually, and I will let you guys know where if it's not on this channel. But I'm going to be streaming again this week, either Thursday or Friday, probably about noon. I also realized I didn't say Eastern Standard Time last time I told y'all when I was streaming. Eastern Standard Time. Don't know if it's going to be noon or a little bit later in the evening. I guess I'll put it on Instagram or Blue Sky, perhaps, give you guys an update there. The other thing is that I am still working on the script for the next Reading Nook video. It's coming along a little bit slower because I don't want to reread that book and I don't have to worry about it, but also I've been enjoying doing other stuff with my time, so that will come out eventually. But I don't want to take up any more of your time. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next week. Bye!